Well, it's October, of course. Halloween month, as I refer to it. So I decided to watch Halloween Ends. Yeah, I know. Everybody already heard how terrible it is, and they're right. It's awful. There's just nothing. When they did this new trilogy, which again is one of these things for the Halloween franchise, such that it is I think someone did a map of the multiple timelines. It's like, what is this? Star Trek or the MCU? That's what they'll do. They'll do a follow-up where the other different versions, the different Laurie Strodes will appear. Yeah. Oh, God. The best thing about this is, but of course it's probably a false promise, is in the title, the word ends. Yeah, that's the best part. But anyway, when this version of it all, I guess the first one is the best one of these three. The second one I didn't like at all. It's just continuing on from the second, just blatant stupidity. And even crappy stuff. There's even the typical stuff of cuts that are obvious. Some other dialogue was spoken, and the scene is responding to that instead. But they just cut it together for whatever reason, just for time or what have you. Just sloppy crap like that in it. There's nothing here. Nothing. The idea that this was going to set things right, which all the other sequels got wrong, and that sort of thing. And they didn't. If there was some other idea, some other angle to approach it, but ultimately it's still, Michael Myers is killing people, and that's it, then I suppose it would justify, but they just didn't do any of that. To where now, some of the, sequels from the late 80s and 90s and whatever are probably better than this, those movies weren't worth crap much, really. The Rob Zombie thing was terrible. His initial remake, which the big mistake it made was over-explaining everything, and so Michael Myers comes from this troubled life and everything, and he's just a serial killer. But still supernatural because he survives the bullets and all. And then that god-awful His Halloween 2. My God. So really, all along, certainly for Halloween, there is only one Halloween movie, and that's the original, which is brilliant. It's fantastic, and it's a true testament of skill and talent and abilities with camera work and all that sort of stuff and suspense. And also holding true to less is more. And certainly exploits that to its nth degree, and just delivered a classic. And Halloween 2, if there's going to be a sequel, despite all the problems with it, is probably the best of the batch as far as any follow-up of these. But for the most part, it's probably best to just, when Halloween ends, that's it. It's over. The other movies are just not worth anyone's time. And they keep going back to this thing because people keep watching them. Yeah, I'm an idiot, and I sat through it. But how many more do you have to make? Unless somebody comes in and has some other idea, but the idea that this continues on, no. When they started this, revisiting thing. Which is actually, I guess, would count as the second go-around for this endeavor, because Jamie Lee Curtis came back in the 90s for Halloween Water and that sort of thing, and decided to come back. Oh yeah, you know what? Most people don't even count the second movie as canon, so let's just do an actual sequel to the original and all that. And all it was Jamie Lee Curtis doing her Sarah Connor bit. But for a Terminator 2. And that's basically what they were ripping off. And she's badass. And you just get that all the time. And is this enough already? The story here about the disturbed man who's wrongly accused And then they borrow stuff from the crappy sequels where it seems to insinuate that Michael Myers passed on his evil force into this guy, which would mean, oh, he's the new Michael Myers. No, there's still Michael Myers until Laurie finally kills him, and then they grind him up. Yeah, so that's it. Unless you actually show his body reforming. Well, like the Terminator in Terminator 2, you reform. But that was like the girl from the other sequels, that, the evil was supposed to have passed on to her or some crap. And then I don't know if they even followed up. I can't even remember. And something of that was like Laurie Strode became evil in the zombie movies. God. There's different things you could have done. Okay, so you introduce a guy who becomes obsessed with Michael Myers. There's a track you could follow, and for a while you don't know who is this Michael Myers, and it's not. And if you're clever with it, like a mystery, and that's an angle you could have taken with it, and then I suppose Michael Myers does show up at the end or something, maybe. But it was a little too late because, like the second of this go-around film, Halloween Kills, was just god-awful. But something along those lines of just trying to think of anything, to make this somehow have a story. But the story of her granddaughter, and there's no credibility to them, to their motivations, to where they get from there to here and that sort of thing. And, and the idea that she would go for this. Well, the guy openly admitted he's killed people. It's pretty obvious something's wrong with him. There's no defending this. And does it really work as a narrative structure from the original film? No. You got the mask, you got the song, and some jack-o'-lanterns. And then quickly reuse and repurpose footage from the original film, and that's it. And this thing was just lazy. Slap job lazy. So I guess Halloween Kills wasn't as lazy as this one, despite being a terrible film. But this thing was crap. So no more. No more. This constant running to old franchises and trying to revive them for over 10 years now just doesn't seem to work because there's just too many lazy slap job people, and there's a variety of reasons and concerns. I don't really see that so much in this one as far as political stuff and they'll say it and all that, but this is these were bad movies. This was movies done by people who just didn't care and didn't really even try. But to go back to all of that stuff, initially say, oh yeah, return to it, and we're going to try to do this and that, and move it into other directions. And okay, yeah, and you just burned every time. It's the only thing positive I could think of was, I guess, the Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's it. The rest of them, I don't know. They can't help themselves but just be stupid about it. So, gee, I hope it's not lying in its title. Yeah, we know it is. Yeah. But Halloween ends, and it should. There's only one Halloween movie. There's only one. And, of course, it was supposed to be this anthology series, Season of the Witch. That's why there's Halloween 3. It doesn't have anything to do with the other one. And, that makes it the only other good Halloween movie. Because it's not connected at all, Well, yeah. Anyway, that's it.